2021, our family,
I'm gonna get there.
right, do whatever. Start over.
Portugal.
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 Mm-hmm. You can go.
Yeah. In the fall of 2021, our family of 5 took what was planned to be a 4-week trip to Portugal, and it was our first ever
Trip to Europe.
family trip to Europe.
Yep.
And to see what Europe was about, and we just wanted to share a little bit about how it went, the good, the bad, and the honest of how we did. So, so Portugal. Why was Portugal even an option for us?
So, as with a lot of things that we do, it was pretty random.
Yeah.
We didn't have a connection to Portugal. Neither one of us had ever been there, but as we were looking at places, and we had this idea that we wanted to go to Europe, and as we were looking, more specifically you kind of led the Portugal thing.
Yeah.
We kept seeing that it was a great place for families, that travel, was easy to get there, that it was affordable, it was beautiful. I have a friend who's from Germany, and she loves Portugal, and so I think it just felt like, oh well, let's try it.
Yeah,
It wasn't a big...
No, I feel like for a lot of Europeans, like Portugal, the
that's
Algarve,
right.
which is a southern region which we went to, is really their, I don't know, I wouldn't equate it.
Vacation destination?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's their Myrtle Beach.
No.
That's a bad.
No.
No. Somewhere in
Like
Florida.
Destin?
Maybe they're
38? No.
Cabo.
I don't know.
It's really like
not
a
Myrtle Beach.
It's a destination for people from UK, from France, and all that good stuff. And I think I got to Portugal with one we knew of, Ronaldo,
Soccer player.
He's very
His chiseled features.
yeah, the genetic lottery.
He won it.
He won that thing. And then I knew of Portugal simply because my grandparents are from Hawaii, and there's a bakery there called Leonard's Bakery that has these things that are called malasadas, that are Portuguese donuts.
And
So
you love them.
I just love them.
But
and
your grandma also is part Portuguese, which I didn't realize until we were there.
Yeah, we didn't know this till I was there. But like my grandparents,
Immigrated.
Somebody came from Portugal.
It's in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not why we went.
I didn't know that until we were there and learned. So we get to Portugal in the fall of 2021. Tell me your experience of Portugal.
Yeah. So it was, first of all, I was pretty nervous about going. I did not feel very relaxed about it, which is okay.
It's pretty normal.
It's kind of normal for me, but I was nervous, and it really was more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. The water was beautiful. It was also way more desert than I anticipated, but I mean, like massive orange groves coming up out of the desert. It was impressive. It was, it was an adventure for me eating. Yeah. Trying to get through grocery stores, because I had this idea that we would just shop at the market and it would be beautiful, and we would come home every day with fresh food.
Like a basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you're celiac, so
I
you
have
have
celiac,
to eat gluten-free.
so I have to eat gluten-free, and I'm pretty sensitive or I'll get really sick. So going to the grocery store was like an adventure in and of itself for us. I mean, we're talking like hours with Google Translate, reading ingredients in Portuguese.
Yeah.
But we did it. Like that's part of what
fun.
Gives me confidence for France. Is I'm like, well, I can figure out how to eat somewhere else. And Portugal had like all gluten-free restaurants.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. So, anyways, it was beautiful. But my experience, I feel like I can separate it. We had amazing times where we visited gorgeous beaches where, huge black mountains just seemed to just come up out of the ocean.
Yeah.
But we also had, it was difficult. It was a difficult time. Our kids, they had some great times, and then they struggled.
Well, I think if you take a 4-week section of your life any month, you're going to have like with kids, our kids, it's great days, bad days. I think because we were on this like long journey, we assumed it would be like, and they probably did too, vacation mode, the whole time, and eat whatever you want, do whatever you want, iPads whenever you want, and we had to figure that out because we didn't have a lot of structure around this trip because we'd never been on a trip this long.
Right, we didn't know how to do it.
And generally, if you go on a week-long trip, we're very more laid back, vacation mode. So it was a little bit of a challenge with the kids.
And people asked me here, friends who knew we were going, like, what do you want to do in Portugal? And I really would tell them, we just want to take our life here and live it there. Like,
yeah, it's easy. Very simple.
Without any of our things or familiar, whatevers. And that just was not possible. That was proved to be really difficult. So we certainly learned a lot in between the good and the hard times that we're taking into this trip. And we'll get to that, but what was it for you?
So I was shocked at how just the country, the part we saw, it was unbelievable. It was so opposite of Myrtle Beach. No, it was just very laid back. I mean, there is no fast food. There is no.
Well, there is. They have McDonald's in the mall.
Yeah, but like you couldn't just pull off on an exit and eat.
No, you couldn't drive through anywhere.
No, everything was slower. It was just an amazing culture to experience. I knew we were driving to this very, very famous beach one day, and there's just these roads with just nothing on the sides, just normal roads, and we're driving all the way to this beach, and I looked and I was like, if this beach were in America, this road would be filled with Taco Bells and KFC, and wings and Ron John Surf Shop and just everything you could possibly put to have a tourist experience would be on the way, because this beach is unbelievably famous and people go there all the time. So it was just a nice way to experience their culture of just not having to slam a food truck in every square inch of by the beach. It was just a really cool spot to see how they do it over there, and they appreciate the scenery and all those things that we got to experience. And I think for us, getting to take our kids on boat rides and hikes and to see caves that are just really cool. Unbelievable that these have been explored for, I don't know why when you get over there it's well, this land's been around for longer than America or something like that. Well, it
has, sure.
Yeah, but it was really, really a cool experience, I think, to go there and be a part of a different culture, because I've never done that really. You've been to Romania or somewhere?
Yeah, I went on a lot of missions trips as a teen and when I was growing up, and my only European experience was Romania, which is certainly very, very different than Portugal. Feels very different, but we wanted to try and immerse ourselves in the culture. I'm not sure we really succeeded at that, but that was our goal. We wanted to feel like we were living kind of the Portugal way, not knowing anything really about Portugal, but
right. And we didn't stay on a resort.
No, we rented a house up on a mountain.
Yeah. Which
kind of everything is on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
Which, let's just pause for a minute to address the driving situation in Portugal. Yeah. It was. I am terrible in the car, not because I'm a bad driver, but because I am the most nervous.
You're a bad passenger.
I'm a bad passenger. I think we've had a lot of arguments because of my riding in the car. Yeah. But first of all, I could not drive because I don't know how to drive a stick shift.
And that's
not your fault.
That's not my fault.
No, it's not. But I also could not learn because the roads were so tiny and windy that there was just no chance that I was gonna two-lane roads that were never 2 lanes. I couldn't drive, so that was a challenge, and a lot of white-knuckled drives for me because you were cool as could be, but I was so nervous.
Well, and then they have a 4-lane highway that takes you down, and obviously everything's in kilometers per hour, so we're doing 100 and whatever, and she just sees the number of slow down when you're going like 190 or whatever. The conversion
the first time we pulled onto the highway, the people right in front of us got clipped.
They got clipped, yeah.
So I'm like, we're gonna die in Portugal. Yeah. So that was consistently a challenge for me. Was not me driving, but just being on the roads. Yeah. I'm not sure that will change, but...
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, the goal of seeing a culture that we'd never seen before, we got into it. We were in small towns. We would go to these little, I don't even remember the names of them, but they would just have, a little fountain and 3 little, restaurants. And here we are, I know we were so out of place because we were the only Americans in this little town because, we didn't see anybody else like us, and we couldn't speak the language. So we had a great experience of that. Yeah. We did have probably some massive challenges as a family during that time.
We did. We learned a lot about how to travel with kids better. We still have a lot to learn, but the structure piece was huge. I'm not a very structured mom in general. But when kids are removed from at least our kids, removed from everything that they know, it's really important to have something predictable.
Yeah, and we were also, you were homeschooling. Yeah. So, and homeschooling wasn't new. We had been homeschooling for a year because of COVID. So we I guess thought we've been homeschooling. Yeah, life. Yeah. We'll just homeschool there, and it just wasn't.
It just wasn't. Everything, I think we've said this, but just most things felt hard. Most of the daily things felt hard, with the reprieves when we would go to the beach and all those things, but just the at-home life was a struggle. Yeah. And we struggled. We had, as a couple, we had certainly expectations of the trip, and they were pretty romantic. It's just going to be, we're just going to frolic as a family, and it was just going to be great. And then we also had expectations of each other for this trip, but we never communicated those prior. So we were certainly disappointing each other, and it was just hard. I know for me, you can talk about what your expectation was. For me, I'm not a planner.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I do plan in our daily life like everybody. I plan meals and all those things, but I'm not the fun person between the two of us.
Yeah, I go pretty far into the research part of top 10 beaches to go to, where all those things. So I did a lot of that work, but I didn't actually
I didn't
write any of it down. I just kind of thought I'd remember the beaches, and so
I was let's take this medicine, and I need these books, and everybody's got bathing suits, and we need floaties because the kid can't swim. That's where my head was.
Yeah, and I kind of thought you would have put some effort into finding what beaches do you want to see, because I have a couple in mind, and you had done none of that.
No, I just kind of thought, I'm just going to make sure we're all surviving day to day, and then I'll just follow you into the fun.
Yeah.
And and that was a big expectation, that I could feel frustration from you, but I wasn't sure why, because I was doing the best I could, and you were really frustrated because I didn't seem like I was putting a lot of effort into being in Portugal and enjoying Portugal. So, there were just times where communication was an issue, and that's one of the things that we really are taking into this trip is, number one, it's kind of hard not to be romantic about France, but just having the expectation of we're just, wherever we are, whether we're in the city or we're in the farmhouse or, wherever, we're just gonna live that day the best that we can. So if we're having a day at home, or we're having a day where we're exploring something, where we've got to create structure for our kids along the way, and then just do the best we can then, and communicate a lot more than probably even we normally do at home.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Well, we kind of, I mean, you don't have to
It's
talk
very
about your
predictable.
expectations.
I think it was very predictable when we're at home, but I think with me, one of the challenges I had was putting down work.
Sure.
And I know we took time off to do this, and yet just the way I operate is typically in like a what's next, and I thought maybe like if we take a long trip, I'd be able to put that down, but once we hit like the halfway point, it was just like the clock
Countdown.
was ticking, and now like we're heading back, and so it didn't feel like I know I did not successfully like get that trip. I was not present for that trip because I was too busy just ready to get back, and now I got this meeting and work and all that good stuff. So we are taking that lesson and into this next one that we have to be where we're at, or it's going to be a catastrophe.
Yeah, which I think is a discipline. Like to
it really is,
try and be present is something we're not amazing at, that we really will have to work at, and we are working at it even as we prepare. But yeah, so our plan was to be in Portugal for a month.
Yeah.
And we didn't make it. We ended up finding some tickets that were really, really reasonable to come home early, and just...
Yeah, we bailed. We bailed and we just said we got to get out of here. Not because of Portugal, we were not doing well.
It didn't feel like we could turn the ship around.
We
were there. We tried.
We drove right off the cliff.
We did.
And then we were like, you can't stop this thing. So we gotta pack up and go home and try again next time.
So we made it like a little over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think we decided to go home early at 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was a fine decision. When the guy who was bringing our car drove around the corner, when we got home, it just burst into tears. It's like, we made it. And so, when Nick brought France up, and the idea was, well, you initially wanted to move to France.
No.
You didn't, or you did?
I wanted to buy a chateau.
Yes.
In France.
And move.
Then probably move there.
Yes, and then we got, we compromised and came to an extended trip. I was just, honestly, I think I said multiple times, do you remember our last trip? Do you remember Portugal? Yeah. But I think we've come to a place, and we talk about with our kids all the time, where we can really appreciate the great times that we had there, and then we're taking everything else and learning from it and applying those lessons to this next trip, and hoping we do a lot better with each other. And I think it'll be a big difference. A month was too long and too short. Like, it was too short to really be home, to feel like it was home and develop all those processes, and too long just to be a vacation. Don't you think?
I just think it's how you approach it. And we just did it completely wrong, and now we're going to do it again.
Better. We're going to try.
But we're going to do it better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's it, though.
parting thoughts?
Yeah, no, we'll...
Would you go back to Portugal?
Oh, I would for sure go back to Portugal. Portugal had nothing to do with our experience there. No, absolutely nothing. So yes, it was amazing. They had the best orange juice I've ever had. I learned how to grill a whole fish.
Whole fish.
Just
eat the eyeballs.
Cover the head with a towel and eat the rest. Portugal was amazing. It was just...
So maybe we'll go back.
Maybe.
Okay.
I would go back.
We should.
Yeah. That's Portugal.